Today I'm going to be making a wall clock out of this little watch that I have here. And I'm really interested in trying my hand at a mid-century modern clock. So unfortunately the battery's dead on this one. So this little watch was given to me or gifted to me by my friend Linda from the Miniature Club, and I thought I would like to turn it into something a little bit different. I really, really like these mid-century modern clocks that you can see quite often on the internet. Sort of like see the one on the cream-colored background with the little balls. I just think those are so absolutely fabulous and unique. I don't personally have one in my house, but I would love to find one. So I just think that they're really kind of cool. So I thought, well, it'd be a perfect opportunity to make a miniature that really works. I really like that idea. So now you can, what I'm doing first of all is I'm going to be making a backing for it so that the little balls that I put on it will have something to adhere to rather than just the metal of the actual little watch. Now, I would suggest if you're going to try this yourself, that you probably want to find not just a regular watch, but a watch that hangs around your neck so that you don't have the watch band part of it. So this one here was mounted to a little board, so it's only got like one little area where it doesn't, where I can't actually put the, I guess, the backing around it. You'll see that little square part that pokes out of the bottom. So I'm going to have to trim around that, but I don't think it'll matter at the end when all's said and done. So I've made two of them out of paper, and then I'm going to be using these little stick pins to make the little balls. So I think it's an interesting experiment and a great opportunity to make a miniature that really works. So I bought these little stick pins at Dollarama, and you can see I got 100 of them for $1.25, so they're really quite cheap. And so all I have to do is figure out how I'm going to adhere them to this little clock. So that's kind of the idea that I have. So I want to do it in yellow and red are the colors that I've chosen, but I guess you could do it with any color. I can't see any reason why you couldn't do it like multicolored. I just personally like to have it in yellow and red so that it'll match my little kitchen that I have inside of my Trang kitchen. So what I've done is I've gotten a pair of pliers, and I'm going to use the cutting part of the plier to make them the right length. And they're tough to cut, let me tell you. You have to put quite a bit of muscle into it. So I'm going to cut the little red ones, and I'm only going to use 4 red ones, and I'm going to cut those a little bit longer than the yellow ones. And then I'm going to glue them onto that piece of paper. Well, it's actually kind of more like cardstock. I'm going to glue it onto the little piece of cardstock. So first of all, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to cut them as evenly as possible. And you can see I'm really having a devil of a time cutting these. So I think I probably could have found a little bit stronger pair of wire cutters, but you go with what you got, right? And so I'm just really putting so much effort into cutting these. I can't even believe it. My husband, after the fact, he said, well, why didn't you just borrow my wire cutters? Yeah, that probably would have been a smart idea. So even though I'm only going to be using 4 of these little red ones, I did trim down a couple of extras. And I will say to you, if you're going to do this yourself, make sure that as soon as you've cut off that sharp tip, that you throw it in the garbage right away. So you can see here that's kind of how it's going to look, the distance, and I think that that's a pretty good distance. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now with the little yellow ones, of course, I want those to be a little bit smaller. So the red ones are going to go at 12 and 6 o'clock and 3 and 9 p.m. And then the little yellow ones will go to all the times in between. So of course I need to have 12 of them. So that means I've got to cut quite a bit more of the yellow ones. So I'm just going to be trimming them down and making sure that they're the right size. And again, it's really hard to measure this, so I'm doing it by eye, but I think I get it pretty accurate, even though I'm not measuring it at all, just kind of eyeballing it. So I think that this is a unique little item that will look really super cool inside of my dollhouse because of the fact that it really does keep time. So now I've got the tacky glue out, of course, and I'm just going to slather one side of this little form that I've made out of the cardstock with tacky glue, and then I will put all of my little pins onto it. And that, because I don't think the pins will hold if they were just glued directly onto the metal watch. So yeah, so I'm just kind of putting it together and seeing how it's going to turn out. So at this point, I'm not 100% confident that this is going to be a success, but as I say, I'm just doing my very best. So um, yeah, so I'm just sorting out. You can see here I put one at 6 p.m. and one at 3 p.m. and another red one at 9 p.m. There you go. Oh, not quite. So it's kind of hard to work with this because it is so tiny. So um, you'll see here I was just kind of sitting it all down where I need it to go, and it takes a little bit of fiddling to get it where it needs to go, that's for sure. So I just thought, I don't know how this idea came to me. I just thought, wow, I guess I was looking at stuff on Etsy, and somebody had made a full size clock that looks similar to this, and I thought, oh, I bet you I could make one of those in miniature. So I've never actually seen a miniature one done like this. So yeah, it's kind of a unique idea. Now, I will say that, like, if you were going to try this at home and do it yourself, you're going to have probably a little bit of a difficult time sourcing a watch that's appropriate because, the metal that the casing the watch is in is pretty hard to cut down. So you're going to have to find one that's either a desk, one that's intended to be like a desk clock, like this one was, or one of those little watches that I think mostly nursing staff used to wear around their neck on a chain, and that would work quite well. But a regular wristwatch is probably less than ideal unless you got a way to cut the part off that the strap is connected to. But I think if you go to like Goodwill or, Value Village or a charity shop, you'll probably be able to find one of those watches that you wear around your neck quite easily. So that's what it's going to look like. So you can see I've got the whole exact, because I use the back of the watch to trace the inside circle. So when I put this onto the watch, it will fit exactly correctly. So now I'm taking that second little circle that I cut out of the cardstock, and again I'm slathering it up with a very generous supply of tacky glue. And then I'm going to glue the two pieces together. And the reason why I'm using two circles is because I want to make sure that once this glue is set up, that these little pins aren't going to be moving anywhere. So you can see here I'm just tacking it down, and then I'm just going to use the little head of the pliers to make sure that it's nice and even. And while the glue is all still wet on this thing, I'm going to arrange the pins exactly where I need them to be, because after the glue's dried, I'm not going to have any leeway to move anything because there's enough glue on here to hold Fort Knox together. Yeah, it's a crazy amount of glue. So yeah, so I'm pretty certain that once this is all glued, it'll last forever, hopefully. Anyways, so I'm just straightening the pins out as best I can, and yeah, the pins are probably not going to be exact, but they'll be pretty darn close. So yeah, so there you go. I'm kind of just putting it together, and then I'm going to squish it down, so to make sure that the cardstock is actually squished as flat as it possibly can be. And then I'm going to let this dry overnight because there's a lot of glue on it. So I'm just going to let this be and let it dry overnight. And in the meantime, I'm sure hoping that this watch is going to work because I don't have a battery for it. Wouldn't that be a shame if I put all this work into it and then the battery didn't work? Yikes. So I'll have to go in the morning and grab a battery and see if I can actually get it working. So Linda did assure me that it was working, last she checked, and then the battery died on it. So yeah, so I'm just got the pin there on the part that would have attached to, I guess, the desk mount, and I'm just putting the little battery back on the back of it so that it'll glue at the right level. So I have now glued the, I guess, the cardstock to the back of the watch, and I'm just going to let that sit for a few hours. And you can see here that, yeah, it kind of looks like a mid-century modern little clock. So, yeah, I've got some decoupage, or sorry, deco art acrylic paint, and it's in burnt umber. And I'm going to paint everywhere where the cardstock pokes out. And the reason why I've chosen to use the burnt umber is because I really think that it'll make it look kind of like it's got wood mounted in the back. Now, I could have just chosen one of the coordinating colors to the little balls, so it probably would have looked really nice with a red background, or I probably even could have used like a yellow background, and I don't know why I'm filming this in slow motion, but oh, the joys of making YouTube videos, let me tell you. So, yes, so I'm just going to grab out a little paintbrush, and then I am going to paint everywhere where you can see that white paper. So I think that it'll give it a really super nice effect. So I've sped up the filming so that you don't have to watch me paint every single bit of it, but what I've done is I've just gone in with that burnt umber, made it look like it's got a little bit of a wooden background, and yeah, I'm quite pleased that I chose the brown. I think the brown turned out pretty good. So yeah, so I'm just touching it up and touching it all the way around the edge so that none of the white will show up. So now I've just got to let this paint dry. Whoops, and turn it over. I've just got to let this paint dry, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. I did get some brown paint on the little balls. Go figure. Well, so yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. So the only place that I'm going to have to add a little bit or a little dab of glue again is where I glued the pin directly to the part that would have mounted to the desktop. So, And I still need one of those little batteries. So, and they're so tiny. Look how small this battery is. It's like just so small. It's even smaller than a hearing aid battery, if you can imagine. So I had to film it a number of times before I actually got it in focus so that I could take the battery numbers to the store so I'd pick up the correct ones. So I'm just now going to test it, and fingers crossed, let's hope it works. So I'm just trying to pull the old battery out, and as you can see, I'm having a bit of a difficult time. I'm using a pin to do this. I should have actually had a small screwdriver because the pin is not doing a good job of lifting this little battery. And the less you touch the inside of a watch, the better. You don't really want to be poking your fingers on all of those little gears and whatnot on the inside. But yeah, I'm just prying at it here with the end of my scissors, and voila, the old battery is gone. And let's stick the new battery in exactly the way the old one was in there. And yeah, I'm just pushing it in. I remember back in the day when we used to have Sears here in Canada. You could always go there and they would change the batteries on your watches free of charge. And let me just check it out, see if the second hand is moving. It is. Yay, it works. I'm so happy with the results. So there you go. That's what it looks like. So, and you can see here that it's actually going to keep time. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I'm quite pleased with that. I do have to add a little hanger on the back plate, and it's extremely important because this will be too heavy to hang up with tacky wax. So this is what my little mid-century modern clock looks like. I'm really actually quite pleased with the results. It's kind of cute and definitely different. I've never seen anybody else have one of these inside of their dollhouse. So, yeah, kind of a unique idea. I'm really quite happy. I hope you enjoyed that. I sure did. If you enjoyed today's video and would like to help support my channel, you can do so by buying me a coffee. Just go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Lisa Dobo. I'd like to thank everyone that has helped to support my channel by going to buymeacoffee.com. It's appreciated more than you know. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. It's free of charge and it really does help my channel grow. Thanks again for watching today's video. I really had a good time making this little project. It's a little bit wonky, but I think it'll look cute as a button inside my train kitchen. It's certainly the right colors anyways. And once again, have the best day ever.